Again, the continual coverage of our team and our program and our student athletes, I certainly appreciate it. Coming off a bye week for us, we had a great chance to jump on the game plan for our next opponent in Illinois, and we had really 4 really good practices, which I thought benefited our team. Extra work in the weight room, which is always important, down the stretch of keeping the team healthy as you can be, our recovery, and then I thought our players used it to their advantage in not only the academic work that they did, some catch-up things, but also extra film study on how important that is to go play our best ball in the month of October. I thought the staff put together a great game plan on the information we had against Illinois, and then we added their last game to it after the completion of that game, and then we had an opportunity to get on the road and do high school evaluations and recruiting on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So it was a solid week. We're excited to be back at home to play at Ross-Ade, 12 o'clock. Weather's supposed to be perfect, and against a really good opponent in Illinois. And the more that you read into the history of both programs, now the battle for the cannon, how important that is to both sides. The study of that and what that looks like, the added things to this game. We're excited about our opportunities here coming up, starting here at home against Illinois. And I've got a lot of respect for Brett and his staff, and they've got really good coaches. They've got really, really good players. They played the game the right way. They're always well prepared. I've coached against Coach Bielema before, and he's always had a team that's tough. They do things the right way. They play hard. Fundamentally, they're really sound, and I would expect us to get that on Saturday, and our guys understand how important it is that we combat that in being fundamentally sound and winning situational football, and then creating opportunities for ourselves within the game plan, and then going and executing. So be happy to answer any questions from there.
When you had additional time to look back at the Notre Dame game, what were your defensive takeaways from that, and maybe especially related to what was going on in the secondary?
Yeah, I think you look defensively, anytime that you start the game off giving up an explosive play, you didn't really in position as the game continued to unfold. We didn't get off blocks. We didn't play on their side of the line of scrimmage much. They've got a really good offense, but also there are a number of technique things that we were not where we needed to be execution-wise. You look back, would you change the game plan? There were some things that we tweaked as the game was going on, but we continue. There were some spots that I thought that we did some good things, but just obviously not good enough to play and win against a good team like they were on offense. So we've got to be better, and we've made a lot of strides, in my opinion, to get better defensively in the last few days.
Are you expecting to have George Barron again this season?
Yes.
Kind of going off of that, Rico got some time, I think, in the first game of the season, had to come in last week. How ready is he for maybe more of an opportunity now than he was 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think he's improved from week to week, and again, it's about consistency, it's about practice habits, about understanding of the game plan, what is called within your position on how to execute that, and we're excited about what Rico can do, and I think all the tight ends, they've elevated their play, they've practiced the way that they need to earn more time, and that'll help us because offensively we can do a number of things out of the different personnel groupings with those guys, and there's times that we feel strongly about them in the run game or the pass game throughout the game plan, and I think we'll see a number of tight ends this week for our team.
When you do have 2 weeks for in between games, how do you balance the working on yourselves versus getting the extra prep for the next opponent?
Yeah, every team's different, but I think it's always important to do some good on good. I mean, our Tuesday practices, we still do team run and 7-on-7 and some red zone work and 2-minute drill. We'll still, throughout the course of the year, we'll always do good on good work just for the speed and physicality of that. So that was true last week as well, but also we got a heavy dose of Illinois preparation because we had a pretty good feel on game plan how we were going to go attack this week.
Coach, from what I could tell, you were an assistant at Missouri when you played Illinois and St. Louis 4 or 5 times. Is that the only time you ever faced Illinois?
That would be, yeah, I was an assistant coach or in different roles there. We played, I think, 6 different times. Always a neutral site game in St. Louis.
How do you replace T.J. Lindsey?
Well, I think it's a number of guys, that I think we feel good about in that position on, they've got to elevate their game. And, anytime you lose a guy that was a guy that played, 30 to 40 snaps a game, well, those snaps have got to go to somebody. And I think you look at, D'Amico and him elevating his game. Ian Jeffries is a guy to me that is every single week he's getting a little bit better. He had a great week last week, so excited about him. And then, it's collectively we've got to all play just a little bit better.
I think you're a good buddy with Brett Bielema. Can you talk about your relationship with Brett?
Yeah, I've known him for a long time, and he's done a lot of great things for college football. I respect the amount of years that he's got experience-wise in the different roles, whether Wisconsin and Arkansas and Illinois. We've always stayed in touch and in a lot of different ways, and a lot of respect for him. He's a heck of a coach, and he's a really good man, and he's good for college football.
You recruit against that Illinois staff a lot now, don't you?
We do.
How do you run the ball better, Barry?
Well, I think it's game planning. I think it's blocking at the point of attack. I think it's making an extra guy miss. I think it's running tough. I think it's, and when I say blocking at the point of attack, it's not always the offensive line. It's receivers on the perimeter. It's a tight end, either, at the point of attack or second level. It's quarterback on the ball fakes. It's quarterback run game. There's so many things that go into, well, how do you run the ball effectively or good or better? We've got to do a great job on doing what we feel like our players can do to have success, and then we've got to go execute those. And again, I think we're moving in the right direction. We'd love to have an opportunity to establish that where you really feel good about it. Not only in a 3rd and short situation, but 1st and 10, just starting out where your second down is manageable.
Any other questions for Coach? We were just talking to Miles Slusher about kind of his path here. Was there something that he had to tell you, demonstrate to you that he was ready for this after being away from football as much as he was? Yeah,
and I've known Slush for a long time. I think I met Miles probably between his freshman and sophomore year of high school at Broken Arrow High School in Tulsa. I know his mom and dad. I've known his family for a long time. I still will look back in the opportunity to be a coach, and bottom line, something I will forever feel honored to have a chance to do is have relationships with kids and their families. And no matter where Miles went, we always stayed in touch because I had a connection with him. I felt responsible for his growth, his ability to graduate, and then have a successful life when football is over, like I do all my players. But it's just, we've got a connection we have for a long time. I'm glad that he has proved to create opportunities for himself. I think he's got a chance to continue to be a really good player for us and this year in this team. And I'm certainly proud of the progress that he's made. I mean, he is really in every area right now. He's thriving, and that's a lot of fun for me to see.
Staying in that crew, when we talked to him a couple weeks ago, was pretty upfront that he came on this visit almost as like a afterthought, like he didn't come here thinking this is where he was going to end up. But he was telling me that, I guess that maybe that first night of the visit, you guys took him and his wife to dinner. I guess just what was your pitch to him at the time? Why did you guys so badly want him in this mix as part of the secondary?
Well, I think there were a number of spots that we were trying to fill throughout that recruiting process, and we saw enough on film on what he did at his previous place that we thought he could provide value here. I really like him as a young man, obviously mature in years, but also had game experience. Liked his just nature about his approach on things. On the recruiting trip for him, it wasn't about anything other than just the substance on what was going to be there from an academic standpoint, and then the ability to play and get better as a football player. You know, when a lot of guys in recruiting, with portal transfers, you know, their approach is a little bit different. They've been through the recruiting process. He just wanted truth and reality, and I think that was something that he respected on what he received from Coach Clark and Coach Shear. Would be my guess on some of that.
Barry, can you just really quick assess Ryan Browne thus far? What you've been pleased with, maybe what you think he still needs to hone and polish?
I'm sure glad he's our quarterback. I think he's a special player, and he's gotten better every single week. I think watching the things that he needs to correct, he gets corrected. He's so smart. He understands. He commands leadership of the offense. He's a playmaker. He understands when there is a throw that he wish he had back, or you know, he understands the reasons why. And I think he's got a tremendous future, and thrilled about the progress that he's made.
I know it's not sexy and fun, but talk about your punter. Am I crazy to think he's your MVP so far?
Well, I hope we don't have to use him many times, what I really hope. And then when his number's called, hopefully he continues to produce like he has.
Barry, CJ Nunley's gotten more reps here the last couple of games. Did you feel like you needed to generate more of a pass rush, and did he give that to you? I guess what's the reason for his expanded role recently?
Yeah, I think if you look at his production, he's earned it, and he's practicing at a high level. He understands, and there's been some one-on-one matchups that he's won. So anytime you do that, you're creating opportunities for yourself, and CJ has done that for sure.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.